Anyway, I was doing a show. You see the sign back here, Hemp for Victory? I produced and hosted a TV show called Hemp for Victory. I did my first show in June of '91, and my very first guest on my very first show was George Clayton Johnson, and my life was never quite the same. And you know, there's someone here special we got to thank too, McGee. Hi, McGee.
Hi, Richard.
I've known this lady since June of '75, and when I got involved in January of 1980, she naturally got involved because we've known each other for so long. And what a pain in the ass she's been all these many years in the movement.
Tell that to Molly.
But let me to Molly. That's right, Molly. That's an inside joke, kids. But anyway, McGee has been a real, in the early part of the movement, 80, 85. We all knew Jack. We worked together. We did crazy things. We lived on the front lawn of the federal building. It was a blind leading the blind. We didn't know what the hell we were doing, but by God, we were going to change the world, no matter how badly we did it. All right, hey, Bill Britt, and this is Bill Britt. How long have you been involved with this, Bill Britt?
About a little over 12 years.
Hey, let's hear it for Bill Britt, guys. Bill, absolutely, yeah. 12 years, huh? Can you keep it down to a short 4 or 5 hours? Because once you get, he'll never give it up. Okay, but you got some important things to talk about, absolutely.
Actually, I got involved just by, mainly because I was sitting at home, kind of feeling sorry for myself. One person can't make a difference. Why get involved? And Prop 215, it came up, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, these things never pass. Why get involved? And this group in Orange County came up to Long Beach and the Orange County Hemp Council, and they had a rally in in a park. And I just showed up just for the heck of it. You know, I'd say, you know what? Maybe I'll meet some people. Maybe I'll, you know, make some friends. And they said, come on down to our meeting. You know, we have regular meetings, and I started going to the meetings, and they had rallies, and we went out to the like the federal building to get people to see what the reaction is. And when you're standing on Wilshire Boulevard with a big marijuana sign and or a big flag or something like that, it's like an Insta-poll. And what I noticed was that about in a week of Sundays doing this, there's probably 5 or 6 people that gave me some kind of like this, but about 20% of the people were yuppies in the Lexuses without trying to keep from busting up because their kids were in the back. But 79%, everybody else was screaming, Wah! Screaming out the window, honking their horns, and I'm going, wow, this might even pass. You know, and the more I got involved and the more I got out there, I started finding out that one person really can make a difference. And I started trying for myself. Like my doctor refused to make the recommendation because it was a county clinic, so I questioned it. I said, well, who makes the policy? How do I change the policy? Because patients should have a say in how policy is made. We are the people. We should have a say. And so I went to the director of the clinic, and she said, oh, I don't think you qualify. I wrote letters to the county health department. I wrote letters to the state health department. I mean, I went all the way to Washington, D.C. With Americans for Safe Access, and there was 14 of us from 10 different states, and we had a banner that was 200 feet long that said, marijuana does have medical value. 7,000 doctors that agree that marijuana does have medical value. And we wrapped that banner around us, and we blocked the entrance for several hours, and we were calling for Tommy Thompson, who was the director of the Health and Human Services at that time. And you got to remember, this is my first trip to Washington, D.C. I didn't tour the Lincoln Memorial. I didn't tour the Washington Monument. But I ended up touring the downtown jail facility, which was interesting. But we blocked the entrance, and we called for him to come down. He wouldn't come down, so we decided to take the document to him. And that's when we were arrested. And as I was sitting in that jail cell with my other friends, I thought about some of the other people who sat in that very same jail cell, you know, in the civil rights movement and for all kinds of movements standing up for people's rights. And it made me feel proud to be a part of that, to say I'm a part of a movement, I'm a part of history change, I'm a part of something that means something. I am change, I can do this change. Not only can one person make a change, but in one person's life, but in many people's lives, and the impact, and the more you get involved. And when I came back, it's just I started going to court and I started helping people. I had time on my hands. People don't realize how much time you have. Just spent watching a little less TV. But the more I got involved, and I spent a lot of time, like over 10 years, just going to court, helping people, educating the lawyers. And as it turned out, at first I was sitting in the courtroom saying, no, don't say that, don't say that. And then I got the lawyers to start listening to me. And then I got the lawyers to actually get me on the stand. And so today I'm a court-qualified marijuana expert. And so I can go in there. So some of the things that I do is I go down and like I was in 3 times a day. I went to 3 different law enforcement agencies. Go in and when they say there was a case where they say he had this guy had 100 pounds. He's obviously a sales, and there's no other indications of sales, but just because he has so much. But when I went down there, it only weighed 30 pounds now because all the water weight went out of the plants. The boxes weighed 15 pounds. The stalks and stems is really only a fraction of that. So I was able to take that from 100 pounds to 1.5 pounds, which is about enough for a typical cannabis patient to use maybe a month or 2. So it just makes a difference to have somebody, to have experts and to have people standing up and speaking out to show it and keep the law enforcement honest at least. One of the people I helped was a guy named Felix Kaw. I helped him get a court order, mainly because I helped another patient get a court order. And and the judge was reluctant. So when the judge was reluctant to write that court order, he was able to go, but Your Honor, in this very courthouse, one other judge has done this. And what I found is when you're working with politicians, law enforcement, nobody wants to be the first person to do something, so you can say that other precedent has been set. There's like a willful ignorance, so that they don't know about it, but as soon as you show, look, somebody else has already done this, that judge came back with that and said, not only do I think I should sign this, but if I didn't, I think I'd be in violation of the law. So that case went to was appealed by every law enforcement agency in the state. The Americans for Safe Access took up the appeal. We won in appellate court. It went to the state Supreme Court. They refused to hear it. It went to the United States Supreme Court. They refused to hear it. So this is law. So it's like my fingerprints are on a case that set precedent, a precedent-setting case that say police have to give marijuana back.
Hey.
I'm also part of the San Diego lawsuit because they sued the state so they wouldn't have to give the ID cards, and that's currently going on still. We won an appellate court there. The state Supreme Court refused to hear it, and now the United States Supreme Court is waiting to hear that. As soon as that case is heard, or not heard, that is going to be the final decision whether federal law trumps state law. So I don't say these things because to pat myself on the back. What I really want to focus on is that I don't have a degree, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor, but I just have some time, a little bit of intelligence, a little bit of knowledge and persistence, because it's amazing how much one person or even a small group of people can, the impact that you can have. So never underestimate that. There's a, let's see, there's what I call the 5 levels of involvement. One of the way I've been doing this for 12 years, it's easy to get burnt out, and I recommend that you find some area that you really care about. And become an expert. What I did is I focused firstly on my own disability. I became an expert about my condition. Nobody can know about a condition. No doctor, no other person that hasn't suffered that can know it as the condition that you have. So become an expert in condition, learn about how to gain access to information, and by learning how to gain access to information, you can help anybody else. You can learn to gain access to information for any condition, and this is how you become an advocate. And what's going to be, what's going to help you is to have as many skills as possible. The reason I get paid money to talk about marijuana. Let me say that again.
I want your job.
I get paid. People give me money to talk about marijuana.
Yeah,
but it's not just because I know about marijuana. But I have other areas that I focus on. That when I get on the court, when I get on the stand, they say, "Are you a marijuana activist?" No, I'm a patient advocate. This is just one issue. I have knowledge with people. I work with people with mental and physical disabilities. I volunteer at the library that has a information center for people with disabilities. I work with politicians. I work with law enforcement. So the more skills that you have in the more areas, the more valuable you'll be as an advocate or as as an employee, or as in the rising, as cannabis becomes more legitimate, there's going to be a need for people to regulate and to advocate for patients' rights and to work within the communities. And to speak out. There's a need for people who can speak well and present themselves and go out. Because, again, it's just amazing the impact that one person can have. In Orange County, we went to the Board of Supervisors because they hadn't done the ID card program yet. 2 people, just myself and one other person. And I thought it was going to be a conservative, this guy was going to be, some kind of jerk. But as it turns out, when I showed up, it was like, oh, medical marijuana, I've been wanting to hear about that. And in fact, oh, here's the people you need to talk to. Don't bother with these supervisors. And he basically gave us the majority to get to implement this program. So by finding out, the politicians are not going to say it on their own. They're not going to go out and risk their necks. But if they can say to have their constituents behind them, look, I'm not soft on drugs. I have to talk to my cancer patients, talk to my AIDS patients, talk to my disabled patients who need this medicine. And it's amazing. You'd be surprised how many people that you thought were conservative, people who are on the fence, will actually come out and speak on our behalf. Will get on our side. So don't hesitate. So getting involved, it's just, you definitely can make a difference. Let's see, there's a...
Oh, are you done?
Anybody brought the cakes yet?
Are you done?
I don't take that.
He ran it again.
Let's just say,
I love that
wanna
shirt,
say,
man. I just love that shirt.
Not only do I know that one person can make a difference, I know that I have made a difference. I know that you can make a difference. And I know that we can make a difference, and I know that we will make a difference. So get out there and get involved.
Yeah, well.
Okay, I'm being again. I'm on television, guys. No autographs, no autographs. Hey, that's Bill Britt. Thanks a lot, Bill Britt. That was great. Dedicated man. When I was doing my Hit for Victory TV shows, I did like for 11 years. I did 66 shows, and Bill Britt was on 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them. James was on one of them. McGee was on one of them. George Clayton Johnson was on my 6 or 7 of them, guest hosted, interviewed me. Jack Harry's been on 4 or 5 shows. Kathy hasn't been on any of my shows, but she's in my heart. Buddy Doozy was on one of my shows. A lot of people around here. Is there anything anybody else would like to say? They want to say about HIP and what they've got going? Or is anybody celebrating an anniversary? A wedding? A birthday? Maybe a divorce? Yeah?
Richard,
Yo,
you want to hear about Amsterdam?
huh?
Oaksterdam University. You can say something about it yourself.
Well, I know very little. I know that there's the Oaksterdam University here in Southern California, and it's located, is it West Hollywood or North Hollywood?
It's on San Vicente by Wilshire.
San Vicente Boulevard by Wilshire is Oaksterdam. It's a college. And how long has it been going in existence, Bill Britt?
Down here for about 6 months.
So it's been in existence about 6 months. You teach a class there? What's the class you teach?
Actually, I'm a guest speaker. I speak about what I just talked about, things that I talk, advocacy and advocacy and outreach, working with city council, police.
And what kind of what size classes do you speak to? How many would be in your class or anything like that? But anyway, hey, if there's anyway, that's Oaksterdam College. It's spreading. It originated up in Berkeley. Oh, get ready. Here we go. Stand back, Richard. Okay, here we go.
Richard Lee and Jeff Jones and Chris Conrad and other groups formed a group up in Oaksterdam, which is Oakland mixed with Amsterdam. So they started having classes for people who to run the collectives, starting the collectives, working at the collectives, trimming classes, cultivation classes. Usually they have an attorney, a cultivation expert, somebody who knows about how running the collectives goes. Down here we have Don Duncan. We have Bill Paoli, I believe. Jeff Jones talks on cultivation. But I'd recommend it. I think it's like $250 for a 2-day course that gives all the demographic and legal aspects. They answer all kinds of questions. It's a wonderful course. If you see, they have ads in the West Coast Cannabis. If you go to the West, on the West, which we'll be passing out here. So the magazine West Coast Cannabis, but you can see it.
You know, we got a very special guest at this point. First thing we're talking about.
Of course.
Hey, are we in luck? I'm really glad we have this gentleman who just showed up. You know, there's certain superstars of this movement in different aspects. Jack with his aspects. Bill Britt is a superstar in the medical. And I might modestly say this next gentleman, who I'm going to put up here, his name is John Doe, and he's just to the left. Could you come up here, Joe, please? We're holding you special. Did I take the wind out of his sail or what? Richard Eastman. Richard. Hey, yeah. Let's hear it. This gentleman, you have like rock stars. This gentleman,